Golly.
Your lucky days at 24. It's 1:40 already. It's morning. Yes. And what a lovely morning. Good morning. Good morning.
Oh man, hey. I'm recording again.
Good morning. Good morning.
Oh, that's fine. This is from 1952.
No, it's not
When did you
okay.
start
Stop.
recording?
Stop.
It stopped forever ago. What
No,
are
it
you
didn't.
stopping? It did.
It didn't.
You go back and you listen to the tapes.
What happened to us, Father? Dante betrayed me. There's nothing left for me here.
Yawn.
This is home?
It's almost the middle of October.
Virgil,
And it's still hot.
Virgil.
Yeah, because of global cooling.
Shut up. Just imagine how much better life would be if global cooling was a thing.
Global cooling is a thing.
No, it's not.
Alright. So are you going to tell me that the Earth is flat too?
No, the Earth is clearly round, but it's also getting hotter.
You gonna do your own research on the vaccine next?
Oh, you don't have a double jump. Okay, that makes a lot more sense. Yeah, I did do my own research on the vaccine. I fucking took it. And the research, and my conclusive research is I didn't get sick from the vaccine.
You gonna storm the area now?
No, I always thought that shit was dumb. Like, I realize he's asking me stupid questions, and it's like he's phoning it in. I get it. Like, I'm not unaware. But this is righteous indignation. I never thought that storming Area 51 was something that they should have. I don't even get how people thought it was a good idea. But
here's the thing. I'm not asking you stupid questions. I'm asking you relevant questions.
No, you're asking me questions.
People.
Yeah, but you're asking questions, sure. I think the fact that storming Area 51 was real to a lot of people was probably the precursor to the Capitol riots. Like, people really thought that they didn't need to heed the advice of the people. Like, no one needed to pay attention to the government. Like, no one needs to respect the fact that it's government property and that you're not supposed to go there. No one felt it was important that we actually have to listen to this. We can just do what we want to do. And so they were like, yeah, we're going to go. But then no one really went. Because as dumb as it sounded, it was still fucking dumb. So no one went. But the Capitol riots did happen.
I mean, as dumb as it sounded, the military will shoot.
Yes. And I feel like it's one of those times where it's like, I don't know how much more in advance you need to you need something to be. Yeah,
to not be shot by the military.
Yeah, because like I feel like people would argue that, well, it wasn't necessary for the military to shoot them. It's like, well, they planned all of it. They planned it. Like, I can't stress that enough. They planned it, and they told the military that they were gonna do it. And then the military was like, don't do that. And they were like, nah, I'm gonna do that. And the military was like, if you do, we will hurt you. And they do it anyway. And then when they get shot, they're like, oh my gosh, I can't believe they freaking shot us. They told you ahead of time, don't do this. And you still do it and you get shot and you blame and you cry victim. I don't understand that. It's like saying if you're late to school again, you'll be suspended. And then you're like 30 minutes late and you get suspended. And you're like, well, I didn't know you were serious. You should have let me know you were being serious.
Now, the difference between that and Capitol riots.
Everything?
Well, I mean, the majority of those cops were in on it.
Yeah. Do you think that there were any police officers who knew that the Capitol riot was going to happen and then, like, they didn't do anything because they were hoping to get to shoot some protesters?
I mean, I feel like there's a couple of those people in every police force.
Morgan Freeman has openly stated that he is in no way supporting defunding the police. A part of me feels that's because he's rich, and if something bad happens, he wants to be able to call the police and, you know, have them show up in police.
Honestly, defunding the police is a bad idea.
And what's that, like,
Reforming the police, however, makes much more sense.
we're listening.
Well, defunding the police simply implies just taking away all of the money that the government gives to police departments. And majority of police officers and departments feel like they, like teachers, are massively underpaid. So it would only incentivize them to quit their jobs, literally leaving no one on the streets. Now, some studies have shown that there's not like a massive difference in crime rates when police are or aren't on the streets. But then you also have those idiots, specifically in this country, who will try to make a point.
The light? Okay.
Now, when it comes to reforming the police, I've seen firsthand that there are cops everywhere in the UK. There are cameras everywhere in the UK. But it's that they, I believe, on average, have less reported cases of police brutality. As a matter of fact, I'll tell you this story. There was a rapist on the loose on my street when I lived there. And so there was like kind of an increased police presence. And there was this drunk person got wasted at a bar and was escorted home by the cops. And not only were they escorted home by the cops, but the cops also took this person's phone and proceeded to take many, many selfies with this drunk person and trolled him and then posted it on Facebook.
Trolled them how?
I don't remember exactly what the post said, but it was essentially making fun of them for getting wasted and needing the cops to take them home. But the cops literally like walked this person home and put them in bed.
That can't be real. Police don't do that stuff.
They do in the UK, and they don't even carry guns.
You lying? They carry guns.
Nope.
They put them in a little bag.
They carry tasers and they carry a baton. They do not carry guns.
Yeah, but from what I've seen on Reno 911, they'll beat the ever living fuck out of you with that baton.
Yeah. It's only the Scottish ones, not the Welsh. Maybe the English ones, but not the Welsh.
That's wild, yo. Why do you think it's such a difference?
Well, they haven't been spoon-fed and treated. They're not spoiled. I'm just gonna put it that way. Or, but I can't think of the word. They're not entitled like the majority of Americans are. That's it.
I was talking to Alley Cat the other day about something. I was talking to her about something. I hung up on her the other day. And I don't know.
You was mad.
It wasn't even that I was mad. She, I won't say she started to yell at me, but like the call had like was less than like 25 minutes in. Like we just had got on the phone, and she made a statement about something. Like this is how, like the conversation, like the call was so fresh. Like my phone screen wasn't locked yet because it was on the wireless charger, and what ended up happening is basically she made a statement about how like it doesn't matter. Either way, she started bitching at me because I had an opinion. I have an opinion, and she was upset at a certain group of people for having a certain kind of power, and it was a certain kind of power that she herself could wield if she wanted to wield it. And ultimately, what she wanted was to just complain. She didn't want help. She wanted just to complain. And she started yelling at me, not yelling at me, but what I refer to as yelling at me, which is complaining at me loudly. And I was like, are you fucking serious? Like, in my head, I was like, are you serious? Like, one, we just got on the phone, and two, like, it was a whole lot of I can't do shit. Like, why do I even say anything to you? I was like, good question. I hung up. I was like, nope, none of that. And then I continued watching TV. You know, like a normal fucking person. But I forget what we were talking about. We were talking about something, and it had to do with, like, people's need to be able to have something. And I told her it's because they're American. And I was like, I think a lot of it really just comes down to it's because they're American. And it's not like they're American and this thing. No. Because I'm an American, because they are an American citizen, they have the right to whatever it is they want to have. They don't.
Yeah, Americans are incredibly entitled.
And like that's all there was to it. And I was like, yeah. So when we see like white people like not understanding like why something isn't going their way or whatever the case
Oh
may
my
be,
gosh.
like it really does come down to, well, they're white and they're
And
Americans.
yeah, and that's the crazy thing is that there are levels of entitlement.
Oh
It
yeah,
was
totally.
it's just like when I was telling people about
Poodle titles.
Ashley, and I was telling them like how much it annoyed me to have her here. They were like, "Well, why don't you just yell at her?" And I told them, I was like, "Because she's a white woman in America."
Yeah, like, that's not gonna go anywhere. Not for you.
Yeah.
It's gonna be bad for you
No.
specifically. Like she does. Like you can tell by the way she lives her life now. She's never been told you can't do that.
Yeah,
Like
and they were like, some of them were like, "Oh, yeah, I get it," but one person was like, "What does that have to do with anything?" And I was like, "Because she literally, potentially holds the power to end my life.
yeah,
In some situations, it could be over for me if she felt like being crazy enough."
I tell you the story about the white lady who cried rape.
Most of them, I didn't say that.
You said it before you thought about it. There was this story of this. There was this story. I forget the lady's name. I don't forget where it happened. It happened in America, if I'm not mistaken. But I don't remember like when it happened. But there was a story of this old elderly white lady, and she was in a nursing home, and she was dying, and she knew that she was about to die, and she said she told her nurse in charge that she had something that she needed to get off of her chest before she died, and she told her nurse that in probably like the 60s or whatever, she falsely accused a black man of rape. And not long after that, she passed on.
Wait! You're in danger.
The nurse, not being really sure if this was just like delusions of grandeur or what it was, that's the wrong term or wrong phrase anyway. She started to look up some information, and she found some information that did fit. Back in whatever year this happened, assuming it's real, this lady and this black man were out at a bar and they were drinking. And they decided to come back home and continue to party at her apartment. And doing so, they end up getting drunk, they end up doing some drugs, and they end up having sex. And then they go to sleep. The next morning, keep in mind she's in her apartment. The very next morning, her plan was to steal some money out of his pocket and then just call it a day. Now, she's in her apartment. There's no real way for her to, there's no real way for her to rob him and him not know who robbed him. And so she realized that if her landlord saw him in her apartment, there was a chance that she would get kicked out. Because he was a black dude in her apartment and she was a white woman and she didn't want to get kicked out. So she called the police and she said he raped her. And he got convicted and he went to prison. And that was the story. That was the end of it. Until all those years later, she's dying in a nursing home, and she tells the truth. And supposedly the dude got released. I think I heard this in a YouTube video, about things of this nature. So I don't know how true it is, but it's a story that I remember quite well because I found it very interesting that her conscience, effectively, she held on to this information for many years before knowing she was about to die, before she would let this information be told. That was the only way she was willing to like tell the truth, was if there was no way it could impact her in the slightest. That was the only way. I was like, okay, that's very interesting. So when he says this woman has the potential to ruin me, it's like, yeah, that's kind of what, like, as black people, and not as black people specifically, but as men in America right now, this is very important. That's why for years now, a phrase of mine has been the most unsexy word on the planet is the word no, because in the middle of doing anything mildly intimate, if the female's like no, like everything has to halt in that moment. Don't think about it. Like immediately dismount and put your hands in the air. Like immediately. Don't ask any questions. Don't ask what's wrong. Don't ask why. Just stop. Just stop and get up. Because like the longer you remain in position, like the longer she can be uncomfortable and the worse it can be for you. And I think that a lot of women very much see that that's a power they have. And it goes beyond, just, I didn't want to have sex with him, but he made me. What was it? Fuck. What was I watching where that was the case? Where a woman claimed, it's like, I had sex with him. Oh, it was Aziz Ansari. Yeah, we was talking.
Yeah.
You was telling me about it. Yeah, it was Aziz Ansari. I didn't want to have sex with him, but I did. That's not rape. That's just regrettable sex. It's kind of like, it's like I was hungry and she cooked for me, but it was mushy and it was bland. And to be completely honest, I'm not even sure what it was, but I ate it and I wasn't hungry anymore. So there's that. We'll finish this up on the next episode. Until then, get out.